right, we're going to look at set notation in this lesson. We want to determine both what union and intersection means. Two things you should kind of remember coming in: if we have the less than or greater than symbols, remember that we graph those with an open circle, indicating that we don't count the points. If you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, remember when you're graphing those that we use a closed in circle to indicate that you want to include the point with the set. So the union of two sets consists of all elements, which are also numbers oftentimes, that are in one set or the other set or both sets. And the symbol for union is indicated here. It's kind of like a U for union. So in the first example here, we're given three sets, A, B, and C, that have some numbers in them. For A, they want us to find the union of A and B. So union, remember, is all the numbers included. And so the union of this one, we'd want to make sure we have everything from A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we want to include also everything for B. Now, in B also has 4 and 5. We don't need to list those a second time, just anything new that was not in A. So we also want to include 6 and 7, and that would be the union of those two sets. For B, now we're looking at the union of sets B and C. So again, let's start with B, which includes 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we also then want to include anything in C that we have not. Well, 6 and 7 we already have in there. 8 is something new though, so we want to make sure we include 8 with that too. For the last one, this is a union of 3 sets. We can do that, that's okay. Again, it should be everything that's in all the sets included together. So we want to include 1 through 5 because that's all in A here. Also, we want to include 6 and 7, which is in that one, and then 8, and there's will basically be all the numbers. 1 through 8 should be included in the union of all 3 of these sets. So the union's pretty easy, you just got to include everything. Anything listed should be in the set. Okay, intersection of two sets. It consists of all the elements that are in both sets. Intersection symbol is kind of like an upside down U. So intersection, they got to be, in order to be in the intersection, they got to be included in both. If you think of it like a Venn diagram, A and B here, the intersections, what do they have in common? So for A here, we want the intersection of A and B. So we got to look, what does A and B have the same? 1 is in A, but not in B, so it doesn't include 1. 2 is not in B. 3 is not in B. 4 is, so we want to include that. 5 is, so we want to include that. And then I know the 6 and 7 can't be included because they weren't in A, so it looks like just 4 and 5. So the intersection of A and B would be the elements or numbers 4 and 5. For the second one, B, union of B and C. Again, what do they have in common? It looks like the numbers they have in common are 6 and 7. So this would be the set of numbers 6 and 7. For the last one, intersection of all 3 sets. So here a number would have to be included in all of them. We know from those first 2 that 4 and 5 were in both. So those look like the only possibilities if either of those 2 numbers would also be in C, but those 2 numbers are not in C. And so there are no overlap numbers that occur in all of them. When that happens, what we say is we have an empty set. And you can write an empty set just as 2 braces like this with nothing in them, or also this symbol is also used for empty set, just kind of like a circle with a line through. It's also empty set. So if you get nothing empty set, you can use this or this to indicate empty set. All right, now our sets of numbers here are using some less than greater than symbols. For these ones, oftentimes maybe sketching it out on a number line can help you kind of see what that's going to be. So let's look at A. A is intersection. It's the upside down one. So that's numbers that are going to be in both. So let's get a little number line. Let's graph both A and B, sets A and B on the same one and see what it looks like. So set A is all the numbers less than -6. So if we were to graph that out, that would look like this. Set B is all the numbers greater than or equal to -1. -1 would be to the right of -6 over here somewhere. And that would be not including -1 going to the right because that all the numbers bigger. Remember, intersections overlap. Did we have any overlapped parts to these two graphs? No, they don't interlap at all. And so this answer would be the empty set here. There's no numbers that are going to be in either. All right, let's try B. B is the intersection of B and C. So again, let's graph them both on the same line. B is going to have the same graph we just had. -1 going that way. C is the all the numbers between 1 and -4 in between. So 1, we'll put there, -4 would be to the left over here somewhere. That graph is not including -4, but it is including 1, and it'd be all the numbers in between. So here we do have some overlap. We want to look at where was the overlap here. Right in this area is where we're overlapped. It's not going to overlap forever because this one graph keeps going that way. But in between there, it is overlap. So now we want to see what's the set going to be here. Well, it would be the x's where x is between, looks like -1 and 1. So numbers, just gonna go with this for now, less than 1, greater than -1. And then we got to see, should we include 1 and -1? Well, on B, set B does not include -1. So if it's not included in B, we definitely can't include it in the intersection. How about +1? Do they both include +1? Well, we know B does because it's anything bigger than 1. Does C include +1? Yes, and so this should also include 1 here. That would be the intersection of these two graphs. All right, C is the union of A and B. We already have A and B graphed up here. So let's look at the graph. Remember, union is including everything. So we want all the points together. So this would be the set of x where x is either less than or equal to -6 or x is greater than -1. It'd be both of these together. D, now we're looking at sets A and C together, and it's the union of those. So again, let's graph out those quickly here. A, we know, is these points that are going to be less than -6. C again is this graph from -4 to 1. Not including 4, but including 1. And union means just the points together. So we would write this out as all those points. So it'd be the x values where x is less than or equal to -6, or x is between -4 and 1. So basically just writing these both out together. So that would be the union of those two. All right, your turn. Why don't you pause the video and try and see if you can find both the union of these two sets and the intersection of these two sets and see what you come up with for both here. All right, hopefully you've tried it out. Again, I'm going to graph them just on the same graph here so we have a graph to look at. The first one here, all the points less than or equal to -5, that would include -5. So graph like that one's A. For B here, where all the points between -7, which would be to the left here, and -2, which would be to the right over here somewhere. We're not including -7, but we are including -2. So those are the graphs. First one's union, that's all the points together. So that would be, if we kind of join these, it would be -2 here. We know we want to count that. We're going left, we're going left, we're going left. Now we hit -7 on that graph, but our other graph picks up the blue one here and has that point, and that keeps going. So it looks like the union of all these would be the set of numbers that are just less than or equal to -2 would be the union of all these, because it's going to get all those points less than -2, and then even though this graph stops at -7, this one would include all those other points. All right, intersections are overlapped here. So what points are included in both? So here you're trying to look again, what points do they have in common? That's like right in here. So that would be the points. Looks like -5 to -7. And then you just got to think, should we include either of those 2 points? -7 would not be included, but both graphs do have -5. And so that would be the intersection of those two.